is only right that we stop to reflect on our achievements over the past 75 years, whilst also considering ways to meet the challenges we face in the future.
We're going for 75 years, and there's one reason why we do this: to make a difference and to get answers. Now, Liz is one of my particular favourites in the payday lending campaign, because Liz started off as a victim and became a client. She came in because she got herself into a pickle over a payday loan, because the credit checks had not been substantial enough. She'd been able to mislead on her form, and then found out afterwards that she was in a place where she couldn't pay back. She effectively became a campaigner. She not only featured in a film that we had within Citizens Advice, which we used and promoted across any of our campaigning activity, she ended up on Newsnight. Wonga had to answer to Liz, and our reasonable tone. Frankly, we are here to ruffle feathers. We will ruffle feathers, and sometimes we're more annoying because we're reasonable. Because it's so much more difficult to say no when somebody is saying it in a reasonable tone, and what we're asking for is ultimately reasonable.
We've heard a lot of very inspiring stories about the successes of Citizens Advice and Citizens Advice campaigns. I'm here with a message of slightly more pessimism about a project that's currently in the throes of fighting injustice. And of course the hardship that all of these things cause is of research interest and of importance as well, in order to be able to demonstrate why these things matter.
I visited lots of bureaux around the country, and on debt cases especially, it was striking. Almost everyone who came in mentioned their mental health problems. In fact, probably for the first 5 minutes of their chats, it seemed more like a GP's room, rather than actually advice centre. And someone whose finance background hadn't appreciated this. This was quite striking, so I thought, well, okay, let's look a bit further into this. Because that's the point. Consumers and firms are in the dark. How do we change this? Basically, I don't want to be too downbeat here. It is really by calling on firms to evaluate how they can go and help customers with mental capacity issues, building those relationships of trust, and encouraging early disclosure.
If you understand that 2/3 of the people living below the living wage are not, as I think many of us fondly thought, 18 and 19-year-olds starting off. Truthfully, I thought that was okay, because lots of people start off on a low income. But there's actually people in the prime of their working life, their 30s and 40s, are living below the living wage. That means that for those households, when the washing machine breaks, it's a catastrophe. Just like in 1939, our time is now. This is now the time when voluntary organisations need to really organise themselves to say, we cannot just continue accepting things as they are.